Hey, welcome back to the State of Love and Trust. It's episode 288, and we're here to close out 2025 in style. You know, back in 2000, Pearl Jam recorded and released every single one of their 72 concerts, and then they chose 18 of them as like the best. They called them the 8-man shows. So we figured, why not choose the 8-man shows from the Dark Matter World Tour? And then why not choose 3 gentlemen who worked on every single one of those shows to help us decide? You're going to find out our choices next on the State of Love and Trust.
Hey, I'm Mike McCready from Pearl Jam.
Hey kids, this is Mark Arm from Mudhoney.
I'm Kevin Martin from Candlebox.
Hi, I'm Dave Cruzen.
I'm Tim Montana.
Hey, I'm James Joseph from James and the Cold Gun.
I am Matt Vaughn from Easy Street Records.
This is Richard Stuberud. And this is the State of Love and Trust.
The State of Love and Trust.
The State of Love and Trust.
Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. Feed the algorithm.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the State of Love and Trust. It's a Pearl Jam podcast, and one of your two hosts, Jason Kerepesi, and alongside me, as always, is
Paul Ghiglieri.
Matching sweaters, tinsel. Look at this, Paul. 'Tis the season. It's the final day.
This season, indeed it is. Excited and thrilled to have our guests on for this discussion. It's going to be a holiday treat. You ready?
It's going to be a holiday. It's always a holiday treat when we have these gentlemen on. In fact, we have a newbie. Should we get to him last? Should we just build anticipation?
Well, first, our guest of honor.
Oh, I've got it. It's in here. And I've got a backup in my sponsored koozie.
There it is. It would not be a State of Love and Trust podcast.
It would not. It would not. If you're watching here on YouTube, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and listening only, Paul.
You're rating, you're reviewing, and hopefully subscribing in your preferred podcast platform of choice. 'Tis the season to feed that algorithm. It's hungry. Feed it because we need it.
as he taps on the beer can. Many links below to help not only this show, but also our fundraiser of the month. That is EBRP. Send them your money. The Matter of Time documentary is out possibly in your city, possibly next year. Check the internet for local listings. So send money to them. $5 or more. You know how it goes. Stickers, pins, guitar picks, the whole shebang. And if you are a patron here in December, you get this. It's the Uncool by one Cameron Crowe. This is your copy right here. So go ahead and become a patron if you like. All right, here we go. Paul, it's been 25 years since the binaural tour finished, and that was the impetus for the official bootleg. And I find that crazy to think that it's been 25 years, but we thought, why don't we go ahead and talk about that a bit. Nostalgia is that, I'm going to make up a verb, nostalgia on it, and but also look forward. What's the tour we just had? The Dark Matter World Tour. Did it not have many a fine show?
It had many a fine show. What if we tried to cherry pick a few of those shows tonight?
Do you recall on 18 such performances 25 years ago, the band said, methinks this is great, and put a little ape and man logo embossed, I believe, manually by one Bradley Clausen.
I do recall that, the 8-man shows. And do you recall the context? Like, what was the criteria?
I think it was just vibes, baby. I think it was just like, are we on fire? Is the audience on fire? Are we getting as much as we're given? I don't know what the exact formula is, but they chose 18. And so we said, why don't we pick our own 8-man shows of the Dark Matter World Tour? We'll get the internet's response. We told the internet how you go ahead and pick your choices, but let's talk to the people who either worked on or were at every single Dark Matter World Tour show and find out what they think would be an 8-man show, because who gives a damn what we think? Why don't we get it from the experts, right?
I think that's an excellent call.
All right. Making his debut, Paul. This man has manned the boards. Front of house mixing. This is my facsimile for mixing. Just dialing faders that are imaginary. You know him, you love him. Greg Nelson. Here he is.
Hey, how you going, guys?
Oh,
Greg, it is a pleasure to have you on. Could you mix this episode when we're done?
Yeah, I've got some notes for you guys later.
Already, Paul's in 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Holy shit!
It's
good. Now Nelly's about 200 feet away, getting the best possible juxtaposition of all the sounds bouncing off of the rafters, and there's another gentleman who's usually behind the amps, around this stage like a little mouse, punching and hiding, and then he's got a new book coming out very soon. I am super stoked. React Respond author Geoff Whitman.
Hey, what's happening?
It's a pleasure to see you again, Geoff.
It's so great to see you and be seen. Little mouse. I was like, that's weird that you're saying that about your third guest. I thought you were talking about somebody else.
No. You're like
Jeff's not little. He's about like 6'10", roughly, maybe.
He's a large human.
We recall him towering over us at Ohana. So
that's true. That's true. Jeffrey was at Ohana with us. Jeffrey, this is now your third appearance.
I can't keep it straight. I'm like the Alec Baldwin to your SNL.
You are one away from a free sandwich.
Two.
Wow.
Two.
I just take one of those sweaters. I'd rather have one of those.
Well, that can be arranged.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Tell you what,
I'm a little jealous, not gonna lie.
There is a gentleman who has earned his free sandwich. He's been waiting in the wings patiently. He has worked on every single live Pearl Jam show for fucking 35 some odd years. How about Brett Eliason?
Hi guys.
Brett.
Woo.
Thank you for having me again.
We are forever indebted to you, so thank you for being here.
We have the biggest of guns here. I mean, this is the panel, Paul. This is how you end a year.
Yeah, well, this is the cake. We're just the sprinkles on top. Well, I can live with that, though. So,
if you're from Philadelphia, they're called Jimmy's.
Boston too.
Is it Boston too?
Oh, really?
New England, Jimmy's. Yeah.
We didn't call them that in Connecticut, Geoff.
Well, that's not really New England, though, is it? I mean,
I don't.
Like half and half Yankees fans, Red Sox. I consider that to be part of the tri-state area.
You know what? I'll take that.
Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine.
Sorry,
we'll fight later. I gotta say, as I said before, 25 years since the bootlegs from the very first batch. Brett, do you recall? Can you recall what it was like
the most
to
famous reindeer? No, I'm sorry.
I mean, is that weird to you to think that those days hunkered down, mixing those bootlegs, trying to push them out as fast as possible? Like, what do you remember about that?
The scenario quite a bit. I mean, you had the band's manager, Kelly Curtis, had been coming to me for several years because we'd been recording the shows off the live console, the direct outs off each channel kind of thing to ADAT. And he really wanted to try to get the band in front of the bootleggers that existed out there. Like you're at Italy, around the world trip that, there's no intellectual property litigation in Italy. So you can send a crappy, pocket mic recording to them. They'll have it pressed, create some kind of artwork and whatnot, and then it come back into the record stores over here for $40 or $50 for a 2-3 CD set for a really shitty recording. And it had the band's name on it, which was never cool, that they didn't authorize that, right? So he really wanted to get in front of it. There was a point when I had set up my first studio in the basement of my home, and I was talking with Kelly about it, and he looks at me and goes, "So, can we do it now?" And I was like, maybe, I think we can start thinking about this. So we started with a couple of warm up and press shows. One at the Mount Baker Theater.
Oh yeah.
Later released as a vault release.
Yep.
And a radio show performance up in Vancouver, Canada. And the Mount Baker.
Commodore?
Yeah. Commodore, no. It was some low stage, weird place. I don't remember where it was. I liked the Commodore, though. But they... so Mount Baker became our sort of litmus test for the whole process. We recorded it. My buddy John Burton, who's out there recording these shows all the time now, he came up and recorded that for me. We added audience mics. We did things that we hadn't been really doing before. And then I took it home and mixed it. And the original time frame that I was given, we had 2 weeks off between the first time we did that in Europe, 40 shows, I think, and whatever the next leg was. And that was the test pilot. And so originally Kelly said, do you think you can finish this up in 2 weeks? I'm like, yeah, I don't see why not. Well, Mount Baker took me 3 days to do as fast as I could.
And you told that was the wrong information for Kelly because he was like, oh, then we're doing it.
Yeah. And so Kelly came to me and said, hey, what do you think about timeline now? And I told him, look, the one I just did took me 3 days. That the math just doesn't pan out. And he looked me right in the eye and said, you said you could do it. Figure it out. Fair enough. So I talked with John, and he and I came up with the idea of him just staying here in our guest bedroom. My poor wife.
Your wife must have loved that, right?
Oh, God, right? She's heard so many kick drums and snare drums for hours in her life. When I finally built the building I'm sitting in now, she was very excited that it went away. My commute tripled, but it's fair. So she... John stayed, and we originally had this idea, okay, we're going to have this set hourly map of what we're going to do for each of these shows. Back then, you had to real-time transfer the ADATs to Pro Tools because it's tape.
Right.
So if it's a 90-minute show, 90 minutes to get it onto the hard drive. Then he would prep it for me. He would load 2 shows, prep them both. I would come in, mix them both, get the first one bouncing back to DAT, which is what we were handing Sony for mastering, right? Again, all real time. And John would then, I'd get the second one going. He'd come in while the second one was going, babysit that. And it ended up where our kind of time layout wasn't working. So it was pretty much when one of us got done, we'd go to the bedroom and try to get some freaking sleep for a few hours. And then tap, you're up, right? And we did that for, I think we got done in 12 days.
Wow.
This is the European leg?
Yeah, with however many shows that was. And but we did it. And it was pretty cool. I mean, I will admit that some of those, I guarantee I was drooling on the console a little bit as things were going by, but for the most part, it was a really fun endeavor. Really fun.
So that's what that glitch in Dublin was.
Probably.
Jeff and Nelly, do you guys have any memory of that? Like, were you guys going to the store and picking it up? Did you understand what it took to get to that point?
No, not at all. No, I was a fan, but I wasn't really buying the bootlegs, to be honest. Not back then. I remember seeing them in the stores, and I thought it was really cool. But yeah, I really wasn't buying them, wasn't listening to them. Sorry.
There's another cool point. It's just bring it up. It's sitting in stores. Well, that all went through Sony Music,
right?
And initially, we sat down with the big wigs there back then. Michelle Anthony, Tommy Mottola, etc. Michael Goldstone, of course, was there.
Yep.
And on our side, but they're like, what makes you think anybody's going to want to buy these? What makes you think anybody's going to be at all interested in this? And what makes you think you could even pull this off, right? And some pretty heavy conversations. And because we were having to navigate time frame, that stuff was actually pressed in their where was that plant? New Jersey, I think. It's like a 500,000 square foot building for CD duplication. I got to tour it once with them. Really cool. But you're looking at, an awful lot of resources to make that happen. And Kelly masterminded that whole thing and convinced him it was worthwhile. After that first year, that first tour, I think the number Sony pulled down was about $26 million. So they shut up at that point. Yes.
Yeah, it worked out for them. Yeah. Well, they had what, like 40 on the top 200 at some point?
Yeah. I somewhere have a plaque. I should have dragged it out, but I have we were
we love a good prop, Brett. Come on, man.
We were double platinum in Portugal, baby.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Jeff, how many did you buy? Because I know exactly where I was when I bought my first, I think about 3 at a time at the bookstore at college that fall. So it was the fall of 2000. I'm in the bookstore. I'm supposed to be buying textbooks, but yeah.
On your college had a bookstore?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
They sold music there, and your boy bought 3 bootlegs that day.
3 bootlegs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was buying them I was living in LA, and I think I would get mine at Tower.
Yep.
On Sunset. That's where my territory, I was a liquor sales rep, and my territory was Hollywood, Beverly Hills. And so I was at Tower a lot. And I bet you I have. I was trying to find them today. That's the hard thing, is finding these CDs now. But I think that and then I started downloading, obviously. But I think I'm going to guess I had like 15 or 20 of them. I way over listened to Cardiff for whatever reason. That was like my favorite. And what a great show. I mean, top to bottom. I listened to it today in the car after I downloaded it. But I was at a bunch of those shows too. So that was.
Were you?
Reliving. Oh, yeah. I was reliving those shows.
How many did you go to?
On that binaural tour, I want to say probably 4 or 5. My first out of the country Pearl Jam show was on that tour. It was Verona. I was on a wine trip, and I was in Florence, and I managed to get myself to Verona by myself.
Wow!
And went to that show, and it was fucking epic.
That's such a cool venue, man. Such a cool venue.
I imagine you renting a little Fiat, and you're like, that's.
I did. You're right on the money.
Wow!
And I hence wrecked that Fiat on my way back to.
Oh my god! That's a story for another time, is it not? Oh,
the one time I think I've rented a car that I had bought the insurance. Can you believe that? I mean, it was
wise.
So you were like Tom Cruise as Cole Trickle in Days of Thunder was like, I bought the insurance. We're just gonna wreck the shit out of these cars.
Exactly
Races Val Kilmer.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yep.
All right. So now we are here 25 years later, and we've finished the Dark Matter World Tour earlier this year in Pittsburgh. And like I said, I'm gonna as we go through, I'll pick out some shows that the listeners out there and the viewers thought were of ape-man quality. I said pick 5 to them so we could get a better kind of idea. So we're going to each offer 3, and then we'll go around the horn. Why is it a choice? Commiserate the whole thing, and we'll move on from there. So, Nelly, let's start with you, my friend. What's your first pick for an 8-man status elite Dark Matter show?
This was really hard for me. And I'll tell you guys why. Because my perspective is a little different from everyone else's, because my thing is just like, I'm in the moment. Once the show is done, it's done. I don't like Brett, who listens to that show for a couple days and intricately like dissecting every aspect of the show. So he really gets a good idea. Or Geoff, who's there taking pictures and reminding himself, oh, that was cool, that happened, stuff like that. When the show ends, it kind of goes out of my mind. But there are a few that stick out for me. Honestly, the entire Australian tour, like every single one of those shows for me was really special just because it was these big stadiums. The crowds were just insane, and it's a lot of fun to mix in stadiums.
Why is that?
It's I can't describe it. It's open air. It usually sounds really good. The crowds are just incredible. There's so many people, and the vibe is always so good because you have that much energy with all of those people together. It's just really fun. And especially since we hadn't been down there in so long.
Right.
The crowds were incredibly appreciative and enthusiastic.
At a point, the Australian crowd, or the Australian country of Australia, for Pearl Jam was their second largest market.
Yeah. And it's and for years before, we'd always go there. We had so much fun, and then we just didn't go for 10 years or whatever it was.
Yeah. Do you have a specific choice here? I know there's 7 options to choose from.
Right. Auckland was really
first one.
Yeah, it was really
night one.
Because the first one, night one. That stadium is really special because of the the All Blacks and the history and just the whole Maori culture and everything about it is really infectious in that place. And it just kind of made for a couple of really great shows. But that first one was great just because we had a kind of a newer style production with the video wall, and it was kind of neat to see all that working, and man, it was just really cool.
Remember the haka that night?
Yeah, the haka, yeah.
The haka was intense that night. It was like, whoa. It was something to behold. Yeah.
They opened with Given to Fly, which is something that we saw in Missoula, which I don't know that they had done in a long, long time. When I saw the video of Given to Fly played in Missoula, I was like, this is kind of chilling. And obviously Rob had shot some drone video, or he had gotten some drone video shot of going over the mountains. Was there anything like that added to the Auckland show, or what did you make of that as an opener in Auckland?
It's one of my favorite openers. It's one of my favorite songs, period. But I really like when it opened because it starts kind of slow and it builds up, and I like the songs then they open with it. It's kind of start like Release is always one of my favorites to start with. Yeah. But Given to Fly is kind of like that. It starts slow, it builds up, and it just has this huge boost of energy in the middle of it. And it's just really a lot of fun.
All right. So we've got Auckland night 1 on the board. Jeffrey, what is your first choice going to be?
To Nellie's point, I'm in a different zone, when the show starts, and you guys know from my perspective that I'm a fan first, and so I get into my place, but I'm also like, I have to pick my spots, and I know, I know some things, if there's some special things that are going to happen, I kind of know, and, set lists are pretty fresh in our hand. Well, unless you're Nellie, those guys all have the set list before I
No, we don't. No, we don't. I actually get them last.
Yeah, you get them last.
All right, we're going to have a competition next time we go out.
Okay, because I'm way out front, and somebody's got to run out and give it to me.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. Did Nelly get one? I don't know.
Yeah,
exactly. Man,
he'll figure it out.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I'm like, because I'm so visual, and because I'm a fan and I'm listening to what's going on, I'm kind of feeding off of what is happening, with the opener, the first couple of songs. And the emotional for me, my first one was Fenway. Night 1, actually.
Night 1 with blood.
Yeah, that set. Yeah, I look at that set list. I mean, I got totally lost in about 200 different moments that night, and I was verklempt. I was. I was like, I was so verklempt that after the encore, and when it started, and I'm up on stage and I'm behind my little screen. I was like, I got like the flop sweats, and I was just thinking that the first time I'd seen the band was 50 yards away on the other side of the Green Monster. And whoever would have thought, certainly not me, that I'd be in that spot. And I started like getting choked up, and it was weird. And I'm still trying to get a camera in my hand, and I looked to my right and someone's staring at you. And I looked to my right, and both Simon and Matt are staring at me. and like Simon just laughed at me, he called me a name, you can imagine. And Matt's like, "Are you okay?" And that's kind of the first time that had happened, and I said, I was like, I'm having a moment. And he just started laughing and kept playing. But it was like, that was a big one for me. The crowd was nuts, and I probably knew half the people in that.
I was going to say, that's kind of a hometown show for you. Cool. And now, so Just Breathe, Song of Good Hope with Glenn Hansard, Blood with Atomic Dog, Better Man, Setting Sun, State of Love and Trust, Alive. I mean, it's a hell of an encore for sure.
What a show that was for me. Yeah.
Great choice. Night 1, I like the night 1 shout, because night two is an easy choice, I think, for a lot of people to make, because it's a little bit longer. You had the super blood wolf moon in the sky, so maybe somebody else will say that. But anyways, Brett, what is your first choice?
Couple of caveats. One, it's
God damn it.
No, we'll get right to it. Greg's right that I sit there and tweeze and I have the opportunity to put things under a microscope. So my perspective is going to be different than someone who, when I was doing front of house, I remember the band some nights saying, "Oh man, we didn't really feel that. We were hacking." Yeah. But my perspective out front, because the crowd would be so into it. Those guys are amazing at that connection with an audience. They're just magical at it, and they're so consistent with it. I've toured with other bands that were great bands, but did not have that attachment night to night to night.
Yeah.
And you get enveloped in that standing out in the audience. You just do. You can't help it. When there's that much tangible electric energy going on, your hair starts standing up. You get immersed in that. I miss that part of that job big time. Not enough to ever want to do it again, but it's
there's the caveat.
but it's fun. So I have my 3 shows. The first one, I don't know if I have it really an overall pick, but I'll just go down. I did them chronologically. So
no order necessary, just your favorite 3.
Opener, Vancouver 2, May 6th.
Vancouver 2?
Yeah, right out the gate. I'll tell you, one of the things I love about that was that they are a band that tends to warm up over the first couple of weeks, right? And there can still be special shows, obviously, but they tend to warm up over the first couple of weeks. They kind of find their legs together. They rehearse, but they don't rehearse for months on end like some bands do. They like that immediate energy and feel of just getting together and figuring it out. So oftentimes those first couple shows can be a little bit rocky. That second one, I was like, holy crap, this feels great to me. And really well played, great energy, cool crowd, and those are my things, right? If the band's playing really well, I will know it. And when you've got that audience response going along with that, especially if it's a little heightened above what it normally is, that's a very exciting show.
So that one had, go through some of the highlights here. Started with Long Road into Nothing Man, Immortality, in Hiding, before you get the 4 Dark Matter songs in a row.
And I'm a big fan of all those moody mid-tempo things. So
Yeah. We got the live debut of Got to Give, one of only, I think, 4 total performances. Keep Me in Your Heart from Ed Solo, Why Go, Do the Evolution, Alone. Ending with Smile before Setting Sun. That's a very cool set list. I like the Vancouver shout. Awesome, okay. Paul, what's your first one?
One of my favorite bootleg experiences, like buying a bootleg, was the Atlanta 94 show, the Dissident single, where it just unfolds and you got your discs, and always loved that show. I thought that performance and that crowd was fantastic. So I'd be remiss if I didn't think that State Farm Arena in Atlanta would not be one of my top 3 from this tour.
Which one?
I thought night 1.
Night 1, okay.
So, but I mean, both shows really. But I mean, you got a set list with Can't Keep, Nothing Man, Given a Fly. I thought it was when you listen to it, you just feel the raw emotion. There's deep cuts. There's just a lot of love in the air. It wasn't like just a pure greatest hits trip for fans. I thought it had a lot of heart, had a lot of variety as a show. And quite frankly, when you go back to a place like Atlanta, you haven't been there in a minute. I know there was a lot of anticipation when those tours and when those shows in the South were announced. Fans were really, really excited. They were just on fire when that show started. It was sold out. I mean, high energy. The band was in a vibrant mood. You could tell they were stoked to be there as well. So it's definitely a highlight for me from the tour.
Well, you got Won't Tell in there. You love that one.
I do.
Deep, Jeremy, Severed Hand, Porch ends the main set. Inside Job makes an appearance. Mind Your Manners makes an appearance. Ending with Indifference. That's pretty cool. And yeah, you mentioned Can't Keep It to Nothing Man to open the show. I love that combination. We don't hear enough Can't Keep anymore, so that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. My first choice is going to be... I'm going to go with a more obvious one I think a lot of people liked, which is Philadelphia #1. And I think that the Philly / I'll combine Camden in there because it's kind of in the area. I think those crowds are always incredible, which I think is kind of interesting considering, Philly sports fans are unique, we'll say. And but Philly area Pearl Jam fans always bring it. And I thought the opening was great. Long Road, Low Light, Why Go, Brain of J. Brain of J is one of my favorites that again they don't play enough. You got MFC, Red Mosquito, and Breath in the main set, which is like, again, when you have deeper cuts in really kind of odd places in a show, for me, it keeps me kind of like on my toes. Like, oh, if they're playing that now, what are they going to pull out later? And so I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to get. Because some of these shows in the first couple of weeks, Brett, you were talking about how they were finding their sea legs. We saw it was kind of a formula a little bit for the main set where you'd have 3 or 4 songs from the catalog and then the first 4 Dark Matter tracks and then a couple so you'd know certain things were coming. And some fans complain about that more than others. I didn't mind because I love the Dark Matter stuff. but to the point of, well, Breath is always an encore song, isn't it? And I hear it like in spot 12. I'm like, holy shit. So that was great. And then in Rearview Mirror, I remember Rob Sheridan told us, Paul, that he was talking about how he made the Rearview Mirror, the skin, or they made it, Blue made it. That then Ed was like, "Oh yeah, we're not going to play Rearview Mirror like again." We're like, what? But they played it here, and that was amazing. So it's a rare point that we get Rearview Mirror. How about Daughter with a free fallen tag? First time that's ever happened. That's pretty cool. We get Chloe and Crown in the encore. We got State of Love and Trust, ending with Indifference. Like I said, I'm always grateful for that. So I think based on the set list and the fact that Philly crowd, I could hear it in my headphones. I don't know if you guys heard it. And night 2 was really good too, but night 1, I was like, holy, I remember driving in my car being like, whoa, that's a crowd. So for all those reasons, I like Philadelphia number 1.
Solid.
Nice.
Yeah.
We are into round 2. Nelly, we're not going to snake it because I don't want to talk for 4 minutes in a row. But Nelly,
all right,
what's your second choice, my friend?
It's kind of funny because we're starting to repeat. So I was about to say Vancouver, the very first show.
Oh,
the very first run, simply because, and Brett talked about how, it normally takes them, a good week or so to kind of start banging. But for this tour, they rehearsed more than they've rehearsed in the 20 odd years that I've been with them before this tour. So by the time they started, they were ready and they were playing. And I thought, personally, for me, I think they played better that whole tour than they have in a very long time. And that was from just preparation. And it's, we're, at least to me, it was like, okay, we're spending all this money to create this giant production that they've never really done before. So we need to step up and we need to deliver. And I think they really did. And it was just fun for me because that first show was like, okay, this is the first show of that giant screen, all the production, seeing all of Rob's stuff, which I hadn't seen because I didn't do any of the pre-production stuff that they were doing. You know what I mean? I didn't show up until the band did. So seeing all that stuff for the first time and watching the audience see all that stuff for the first time was really fun for me. And I couldn't tell you what songs they played. Honestly, I don't really remember, but I just remember being there for that first night and seeing everything come together and everyone's hard work, like Blue and Rob and Keely and everybody, it all kind of came together and it was just really great. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a fun year. This is going to be really great. So that was kind of a good show for me. It was a fond memory.
I like that choice, Nelly, because to your point about the rehearsal, I mean, I'm looking through this set list and there are tracks here that you would not expect from a first night kind of show. You'd expect the Even Flows of the world, things that they kind of have muscle memory that they're just kind of locking in. But like to bust out Wash as your opener into Low Light, to drop in Leatherman out of nowhere, first time since 2016, to drop in Red Mosquito, to drop in Chloe and Crown in the first show. Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is wild. And then you're shocking the audience by not playing Ledbetter Last. You're playing Setting Sun Last, which became obviously a thing, which I thought was pretty cool. But
I thought that was amazing. I love
that's a great shout.
Yeah.
Cool. Really good shout. Man, first show. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, Geoff, what's your second choice?
My second choice, I'm going to go back to the Australia-New Zealand leg, and I'm going to say Melbourne 1.
Oh, yeah.
What a banger that was. I mean, it was, I was right there, I'm kind of on the corner on Mike's side on the pit, just waiting to sort of walk out when they come on. And because I was liking getting the outdoor arenas with the lights and the backdrop and the whole bit, like right out of the gate. And I was close enough to sort of make eye contact with Mike, and he goes, loud enough to hear it. He goes, "That's a lot of fucking people." And it was, and you could see they were like, "Holy shit!" When they started playing the first song, it was like the energy from behind me was like, almost knocked you over.
Well, it was Why Go, so you can imagine you hear Matt's beat going, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, those people were tuned up and ready for that show. That was a blast.
What else did we get in that one? Why Go Into Elderly Woman, then Given to Fly, Hail Hail. You've got Running, Jeremy Wishlist, Mind Your Manners, Porch, Just Breathe, Inside Job Again, Better Man Alive, Rockin' State of Love and Trust. So more of a greatest hits. But the thing is, when you have that Aussie crowd who've not seen them in forever, they are going to give you a live energy for every song.
Right.
Crazy.
Unbelievable
That's great.
crowd.
That's great. All right, Brett, your second choice, my friend.
I'm with Greg on the New Zealand and Australian run. Amazing shows. I was going back and forth a little bit between Sydney and Auckland, but I think I like Auckland 2 better. So I chose the second night, but Auckland 2. Yeah. The first time we played Auckland, I think it was the first, we were inside this tent that was on a flatbed tractor trailer kind of thing.
Is that 95?
The stage was a flatbed from a tractor trailer. They put a big tent over us, and it got so humid in there, it was raining sweat. It was fucking.
I can smell it.
Somebody ran sheep up over the stage during the show. I mean, it was pretty wild. Not a great show, but entertaining. So I still have fond memories of that. But to play the big venue, have that crowd behind it, and have that kind of excitement behind it again, and they were playing really well that night.
Release, Low Light, Once, Evolution to start the show. Hello. Well, you got Mind Your Manners. You got Unthought Known, Black Porch to end. Throw Your Arms Around Me. Love to hear that one. Smile Animal. Doesn't get enough shouts these days. RVM. Hey, a rare time you get both Porch and Rearview Mirror, and then Alive, Rockin', Yellow Lead Butter. I love it. All right, Paul, second choice.
Look, every time they play Pittsburgh, they bring it.
They
here we really
go.
do. I thought May 16th, that first night was just outstanding. I mean, it was high octane. I thought the set list was fantastic. You know, you got the nice mix of the big stadium anthems and your deep cuts. I mean, when you have a set list that's bold enough to say, hey, we've got even flow and corduroy, we're going to we're going to slip in sleight of hand. We've got severed hand. We've got upper hand.
The Hand trilogy.
The Hand trilogy, right? And then a fan requested grievance, which I don't.
One of our patrons, by the way, was the one to make that. That's right.
I don't think it had been heard since 2016 or something like that at the time. So just all of that, in addition to this huge blown out encore with Do the Evolution and Black, Alive, Baba, Indifference. It just emotionally just resonated, I think, with that crowd, and it just comes out on the boot really, really well. If you're talking just sheer energy, all these other shows, everything that's been mentioned in Australia is hard to compete with. But I think that when you combine the variety, the energy, and just kind of that vibe of well, this is why you make bootlegs. This is the kind of show you're going to release. That was the feel that show had. So I'm going to go Pittsburgh.
I like that show. It was really hot in Pittsburgh, if you guys recall. And I think there was, no one knew what was to come. Wait, why are you laughing, Geoff? Because you were hot?
No, Brett's like,
nope, wasn't there.
Well, yeah, no, you wouldn't know, Brett. You were in the A-frame chilling. No, but it was, everyone saw that this, short little spring run was coming to an end, and there's just question marks. No one had any idea what was coming or what was going to be ending in 2 nights from then. And so there's this anticipation that's kind of it's not a victory lap per se, but you're almost playing with house money. And I feel like when I listen to that boot, in looking at the songs played, and like you said, Paul, there's such a great mix. Footsteps of Low Light to start, My City of Ruins cover from Ed, the War Pigs tag on Alive, Comatose coming out, Man of the Hour coming out. Yeah. You mentioned Grievance. Noah, shout out for making that call. I love it. And Daughter with the It's Okay tag. I mean, nothing wrong with that. That's a great shout. I like it. All right, where should I go next? Let's see here. I've got options. I'm going to go with Vegas number 1. I like Vegas number 1. Smallest room on the tour outside of Hollywood, Florida. And I think building that's kind of littered with a lot of memories. 2000, obviously, with the 10th anniversary show. Always good juju in the air in Vegas. I love opening with Sometimes and then following it with Hard to Imagine, and then Black in the 3-hole, and then Hail Hail. Like, that's a great opening. You get Daughters, another Brick in the Wall tag, which I think is one of the best tags they do for that song, outside of It's Okay, really. And I think I know a lot of folks don't like when Ed gets political. Although if you haven't listened to his music for the last 35 years, I can't really help you. But I don't mind. Like on this, in this tag of Another Brick in the Wall, he's changing the lyrics. He's done it a number of times on the tour where he's talking about politicians leave the kids alone, leave the women's bodies alone. Like, I like that kind of stuff. I like when he needles. I love when Ed needles, and that's, I think, some of the passion that he brought back in those early days. That was a little bit more direct. Now he kind of needles it a little bit, which I think is really cool. But then you've got Break or Fall. Love that song. Waiting for Stevie. Tremor Christ. So you got these great deep cuts. You got Inside Job making the tour debut. Corduroy and Breath in the encore. Like, you don't expect Corduroy to be in the encore. Love that. And then ending with Setting Sun, which I think I mentioned before, is just a cool thing to do. And I never got sick of it. And this is also the part one of this. You guys remember the $500 story? So Ed hands $500. He's talking about how he doesn't want to gamble anymore. He hands $500 to a fan and says, "Hey, go ahead and gamble this and see what happens." And so 2 nights later, they come back and he's like, "Is that person here?" And they're like, "Yes." And she hands him back an envelope, and it's thicker than it was when it was given to her. And he's like, "What happened?" She goes, "Well, instead of gambling it, we decided to get donations, and here, give it to EBRP." And he's like, So I love that part one of the story is also a great show littered with really cool, fun performances in a smaller room with a lot of history. So I like Vegas 1.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
I like that.
We are in the home stretch, gentlemen. We are looking for our third and final choice. Nelly, what say you?
This is, it's really specifically for one moment, but Atlanta, when Frampton came out.
Nashville.
Yeah.
Nashville.
I was there.
Talked a lot about that.
That,
love it.
For me, was so special and so great to see him just come alive. Even though he was
Frampton comes alive?
There you go.
Who knew?
Even he was just sitting. He was just sitting in a chair. I love that Mike sat with him. I love that. But he just the magic was back, and his performance was great, and it was really, really special for me personally to watch that. Having grown up listening to Frampton Comes Alive as a small child and everything else, so that was really special for me.
What was your take when he basically plays like he becomes the verse in place of Ed?
Yeah,
in the middle of Black. I mean, wasn't it just so completely like detour? I thought it was so neat. Yeah,
it was great, and all of it was just really. It's one of those moments where you kind of stop mixing and you're just listening, and you're just. I was just a member in the audience, just like watching it, and was just stunned. I don't know. It was just really cool for me. I really, really enjoyed that.
I was wondering if, because I figured you'd be so zoned in that I was curious what was going to bring you out of your zone. That was so special to bring you out of your zone that might be the reason why you'd pick a certain show or not.
Yeah.
And I was actually at that show. I was like, do I go to both or just one? Scheduling wise, I should just go to one. And when I landed, I was like, oh my God, they played fucking Got to Give. And I didn't get to hear it. Like, I'm so mad I didn't get to complete the album. But then I get Frampton. I'm like, all right, it's fine. It's all right. We'll deal with that. That's cool.
Yeah, that was really
all right, Geoff. Last choice.
Yeah, that I was kind of torn there, honestly, between that Nashville show because of Frampton as well, and just to stand basically right in front of him, more or less, and shoot that was nuts. I mean, I only seen him play one other time in my whole life, so catching that, with these guys, that was special. But on my original list was that or Pittsburgh 1, just because it was. We covered it, but that was just insane. And it was kind of like the last night of, we got one more night to go. So it was kind of like it was. I feel like they left it all on the stage that night for sure.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Brett.
Sorry to give it the same.
My final
No,
is
only one repeat. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
My final is also Vegas, but Vegas 2.
Oh,
and my theory there is that those guys very rarely on back-to-backs are as strong the first night as they are the second night. And that's my feel, but it's always been something that I can remember we recorded the first night in Madison Square Garden, and we weren't supposed to be recording, and we got talked to. So
this is 98 you're talking about?
Yeah. And so we were told that we 98. Yeah, it must have been.
The good old days.
Yeah. But they wanted a lot of money to record the second night, and we just said, never mind, we're not going to do it. And it turned out that night was fucking brilliant. Oh God. It was one of the best shows. I mean, that happened up in Canada too, at the Molson Arena. We weren't allowed to record there, and they had absolutely killer shows up there. And so after that, it was determined that let's just figure out how we record every single one, right? But Vegas, they do always have strong shows there. And I mean, the Aladdin Theater in 92, I remember that well. It was such a great fucking show.
Yeah, it was.
And both of these were really, really strong and a great venue and awesome audience, and, played really, really well.
Of the girl opener. Love that. Yeah. Really cool.
I always enjoyed that.
All right, Paul, it's your last choice.
Well, you kind of teased it already. I'm going Hollywood, Florida.
Which night?
April 24th. All of these shows are fantastic. This one, as an opener, you don't really, like you said, you don't usually get a lot of credit for these opening shows for a variety of reasons. But when you can launch a tour with energy like this, and you vary that set list, and it's a mix of kind of like the new and everything that makes you want to go to a Pearl Jam show, it has like that signature show feel to it. And I just thought that everything about the performances and the energy and just the crowd's interplay with the band and the choices, I thought it's just a perfect marriage. So
Oceans, present tense, why go deep amongst the waves to lead things off? Holy shit. Another tour leg opener with Leatherman involved. That's interesting. And So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star played for the first time since Jazz Fest 2010. 276 shows apart. That's not bad. Yeah. I've got two here that I'm like, I don't know, what the hell do I do?
Let the panel pick for you. That's what
nope. No, we're not going to do that. I think I'm going to say Sydney 2. It was between that and Melbourne 2. And I think maybe the internet might have said Melbourne 2. So I'm going to say Sydney 2. And at the time, none of us had any idea that there'd be that short 2025 run. So a lot of people were like, is this it? And couple that with, as you guys were talking about, this rabid Australian travelers, Oceania audience who hadn't seen them on a proper tour since 2009, hadn't seen them in a festival since 2014, Big Day Out when that was still a thing. Like, people were bringing it. This is one of those, it's the last hurrah. It's basically the Pittsburgh vibe before Pittsburgh was a thing. And I don't know that you get a better opening run than Garden, Wygo, Brain of J, In Hiding, Even Flow, Tremor Christ. Like, that's a lot of fun. And then you have a Rack Respond, Dark Matter following that, keeping the energy high. Fantastic. I'm a huge fan of Dissident. First time it was played since 2022. They busted that out. How could I not mention Hunger Strike with the crowd as Chris? Mm-hmm. We saw it again on the finale in Pittsburgh, but this was the first time we had seen that since 2014 in any capacity. You get Immortality right after that. A lovely touch from Ed into Rearview Mirror. How about No Surrender? First time since 402 shows. They played No Surrender for the first time since then. And the Save It for Later tag, I think, since Ed did the full cover, has found a new it found a new level for me. We've had that tag for a long time, but since we've gotten the full deal, now it sounds different to my ears. And I think part of that is taking my wife to Wrigley two summers ago, and him tagging Better Man with Save It for Later, and
I want to say one of those episodes of The Bear was basically a music video to that song.
It was just that. A whole scene was that song. So all those things, and then you got Alone, Porch, Alive, Baba, Yellow Ledbetter with Little Wing Tag. I mean, that's an encore right there. So all those things, again, it's a soup of things for me. I loved Sydney number 2. We've done it.
There we go. Nice.
Pretty good. Only we had 2, 1 or 2 copies.
One, I think.
Just
one.
Yeah. Pittsburgh won. Geoff, do you have an alternate?
Mind you, Jason, the difference is one of us was there at the show.
Philly. That's right.
You said Philly? That was your alternate?
Yeah, Philly 2, I think would have been
okay. So we'll pencil in Philly 2 as an alternate choice. Let me give you what the internet said. So I'll go leg through leg here. So far and away, Vegas number 1. It got a ton of response. 72% of respondents chose Las Vegas number 1 out of those shows. Europe didn't get a lot of love, unfortunately. I know, obviously, the sicknesses kind of marred those shows. The second U.S. leg, a lot of love for the first Philly show, with the second Philly show right behind it. Oddly enough, a lot of love for the second Ohana show. Not as high as those other ones, but I think people just love hearing Grammy, which is pretty cool. And then you've got Sydney number 2, got a ton of responses. And the number 1 getter, the show that got the most votes, was the finale. Now, I believe, and I'll get your thoughts on this, guys, but obviously I think...
Is this the Pittsburgh show? Or
Pittsburgh too, the final show of Matt Cameron's 27 years was chosen as the most elite, or it was chosen elite by the most people. And I would imagine that recency bias is, and the fact that the reality is that there's no more Matt going forward has to do with that. But can we talk about Pittsburgh 2 a little bit? Geoff and Janelle, you guys were in the moment. And what, talking about Pittsburgh 2, because I originally was going to choose that over Nashville, and I went to Nashville instead. But Pittsburgh 2.
Nelly?
I mean, I had no idea, obviously.
That was my next question, is when did you guys each find out?
I found out when I saw the press release.
Okay. My birthday, July 7th.
Yeah. They kept that really tight, I guess. But yeah, I had no idea. So for me, it was just another show. It was the last show of that tour. And I knew that they probably weren't going to play another show for a long time. So it was a little kind of like, this sucks. I wish we could keep going. You know what I mean? This tour was great. We had so much fun. So that's where my head was at. Like, I was just like, we're probably not going to, there's going to be a year or something like that before we do another show or whatever. And, it kind of sucks, but, I'm going to miss all these people and everything. That's kind of where my head was. I had no concept at all of anything else that was going on. And now, everybody, you can watch the videos, you can watch them during the, encore and everything else that it was kind of obvious what was going on. But yeah, we had no idea. I had no idea anyway.
Yeah, no clue. I was sad that it was over, and you guys all get to come back for decades and do this together. So, this is my first real go around. I'm like, I hope I get to come do this again. I hope there's again to come to. And but yeah, no clue. But even standing up there when the house lights came up, and champagne's going around, it was like, okay, this is either typical of a last show, or, of course, now we know what was also going on. But there was a lot of love going Matt's way from the guys, I thought, through the whole last leg anyway. I mean, really, for the tour, I felt like he got a lot of extra kind of shout-outs and stuff. And, if we knew now what we knew then, or what's the saying?
That's it. That's the one.
Yeah. So, but it's it was a great. I thought it was a great night. It was a great way to go out. It was what a crowd, awesome crowd.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep that night at all.
Yeah, you were enjoying yourself to the wee hours of the morning, but that's another story for another time.
Still hurting.
I think looking back at some of the photos, which you can catch in Geoff's new book, React Respond, out next year. Hey, plug.
Thanks, man. Love the plug.
I'm very excited by that book, and we'll figure out how to talk to you about it when we get closer. But
me too. I'm excited.
Seeing the champagne and seeing the general looseness, you go, oh well, okay. Because I don't recall them ever doing like a champagne toast, loosey-goosey thing at the end of a tour before. I mean, have any of you guys ever seen that? Brett, when you were on the road, did you ever see that?
No.
Just kind of like, all right, that's last show.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah, there's usually a great feeling of, like Greg was talking about, you're breaking the family up, which sucks.
Yeah.
But there's also a little bit of relief. Like, oh, thank God I get to go home for a little while, kind of get back to life, see the wife and, pretend like I have a home and shit. But,
yeah, for me, looking at the champagne and all that, I just thought, well, this was a really ambitious tour.
Yeah.
It was nothing like they've ever done before, and it was very successful. And I thought they're just celebrating the success of the tour and everything. It didn't really
didn't register with you. Yeah.
I had breakfast with my college roommate Ed McManus, shouting him out, and the next day he and his son came to the show, and we're having breakfast in some diner around the corner from the Clementi Museum because I didn't go far from there, and we're sitting there having our breakfast, cocktail because I needed one. And he goes, "Do you think they'll ever do it again?" And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And then July 7th, he called me as soon as that word was out. He's like, "I told you, I knew something was going on." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "I know you knew." I said, "I didn't know shit."
Yeah,
I was
nothing.
done.
Uh-oh.
Oh, hey.
Well, that was the mic drop moment right there.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when I have it piled on 8 books.
I want to just explain for those listening only that was Brett's computer just dive bombing, much like Edward Severson Feder Jr. the Third at Ping Pop, just jumping off.
There you go.
Wee. There you go. What's that? Oh, it's the end of the year. We've done it. Oh, guys, we have done
this
it.
year went by fast.
It
Yes,
really
it did, Brett. Yes, it did.
Not to open the curtain too much, but when I look at the beginning of the year, and the beginning of the year actually began and ended with Brett Eliason. Funny enough, talking about Monkey Wrench Radio.
Oh, look at that.
I remember that episode
was that a bad omen?
No, I think it's good.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Go to Christmas past and Christmas
future.
Yeah.
Brett, what are you doing on January 15th? No, we actually that first episode was delayed because of the wildfires here in Los Angeles.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
We were delayed a few days because of that, and I remember thinking to myself, okay, there's a lot of touch points this year. It's gonna be great. We can talk about this, that, and the other thing. What the hell else are we going to talk about? Because starting the show 5 years ago, boys, or 6 years ago, whatever it was, you have an idea of what you're going to talk about, and once you get to the end of the catalog, it's like, all right, what the hell else are you going to talk about? But we've managed to continue on having conversations that are, mildly interesting to some of us, and we've gotten through another year. How does that happen? I don't know, but I'm thrilled and I'm honored and I'm grateful that we could end it with you, fine gentlemen. There's no bubbly. I didn't FedEx
we don't
any
have
bubbly.
the champagne for you.
I'm sorry. But if you can all make it to a bar here in LA in the next few hours, we can resurrect the Pittsburgh 2 after party vibes.
Let's do it.
Is that possible?
No.
It's like,
get on a plane.
It's like, no.
But congratulations on another good year.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you guys. You do a great job. I mean, you get great guests, clearly, but you do a great job. You really, I love the
present
attention.
company included.
Well, I got nothing going on, so just call me. But it's really cool to me to be on this episode with these two guys because I mean these guys are legends right here.
That's what I'm saying.
There's so much. The guys on stage get lots of the love and the attention, but I have seen firsthand what these guys do, and we've all heard it. And as a super fan,
still doesn't make any sense,
right?
Well, I'm very grateful for what you guys do, man.
Thank you.
It's amazing. You guys work so hard, and thanks for bringing me into your family. It's
it's great.
Greatest time of my life, man. Really.
Awesome.
Honestly, though,
you stepped into a good one.
I did. I got real. I know. I know that.
As this episode comes out, it's December 23rd, so we're just right. Hanukkah's ending like tonight or tomorrow. Christmas is in a couple of days, and it's also the night of Festivus. For those who celebrate, I've got my metal rod, my metal pole right there. Do you see it?
Nice.
I'm very Christmased out here. I've got the tinsel, which is a Festivus rule. You shouldn't have tinsel. It finds it distracting.
Nelly and I got some trees in the background.
Yeah, we got a little bit of lights and stuff. Yeah.
Jeff lied to me. He said he's going to wear his Grinch pajamas. Did not wear them.
I was going to wear my.
Brett has left the A-frame.
Where's Brett going?
He's getting some accoutrement.
Brett, what are you doing?
Fill me up now because I have no Christmas.
Brett, what is
that? Find this interesting. I don't have any Christmas stuff, but here's your platinum award for 10.
Yeah. Okay. We'll take it.
I'm over here with a sweater. He's dropping a platinum award for 10.
There goes the computer again.
And then his camera falls again. Oh my God. This is the best. This is the best.
Technical difficulty.
Brett. Luckily, Brett's still recording. That's all I care about. You fix your computer all you want. So we'll air our grievances, I guess, off camera. I don't know. But anyways, I can't even think straight now with all that.
You can't top that ending, I'm telling you.
I can't.
No way.
I want to thank, obviously, the three gentlemen here, Nelly, Jeff, Brett, for coming on. Nelly's debut, everybody. Nelly's debut on the show. We love it.
All right.
We love
Thanks
it.
for having me. Appreciate you guys.
We're sitting here ticking off boxes of everybody who works on the music or on the tour. So we're just going to file down the rows here. And everybody who's been watching or listening out there in podcast land for this last year, thank you for joining us. Paul, closing thoughts on the year before we head out?
It was a banner year, great guests, amazing music, Pearl Jam live. How do you go wrong, huh? 2025. This was a celebratory year for a lot of reasons, and given the state of the world, we needed this. So that's what I'll say to that.
Ain't that the truth?
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
All right, everybody. You know what to do. Links below, the whole shebang. Rate, review, subscribe, and we'll see you in a new year. And until then, you've been listening to or watching
The State of Love and Trust.